other words, how do we ensure citizens receive the best value for their tax dollars? And I'm going to provide a couple of examples. Last year, we made an investment in new technology at our Resource and Innovation Center. You can find it on the placemat as one of the ones that's been ticked off. These are the results that demonstrated success, showing that our glass residue, which we end up having to send to landfill to pay, and paper to be disposed of, the drop in our residue. So it demonstrates the success of this new technology in reducing our tipping fees at landfill. This looks at ambulance service, and ambulance service is another area with strong performance. The city assumed responsibility for the delivery of ambulance service in 2001 for the province, and we just brought that service in-house this year. Over the past few years, you can see at the top graph, there's been a significant increase in the calls for service. And yet, this bottom graph, you can see that during that same time, there's been a significant decrease in the response time. So we've been getting to the homes more quickly, despite an elevated demand for our service. Few ambulance services in Ontario meet the provincially mandated response standard. Ours not only meets it, but exceeds it by 92 seconds. And 92 seconds in an emergency is quite significant. Another area of achievement this year was park maintenance. At the beginning of this term, we were receiving a lot of complaints about our maintenance of parks. An operational review in 2008 led to changes that resulted in a 30% increase in grass trimming, a 14% increase in efficiency, measured as the number of hectares trimmed per hour, and significant reductions in citizen complaints by, in some cases, more than 50%. One final example relates to energy savings. An energy conservation project manager hired last year has achieved more than $400,000 in annual energy savings, so a return on investment well over 400%. New facilities such as City Hall and the South End Emergency Services Station, which is currently under construction, are being built to high energy efficiency standards, bringing more cost savings as well as a lower carbon footprint. So the final component to the balanced scorecard, and where I want to conclude my presentation this morning, is with respect to the financial perspective. It's no secret that the economic downturn has affected our community. In past years' State of the City presentations, I have pointed out that whilst unemployment rate has always been below the provincial and national average, the picture is very different this year. Local unemployment has increased above the national average in Guelph, although it's still just hovering just below the provincial average. This impacts the municipality's financial picture in a number of ways. Unemployment drives up social services costs, assessment growth is down because construction is down, and many other municipal revenues are down. So Guelph is certainly not alone in this. Municipalities across the country are also feeling this. The question is, how are we responding to ensure taxpayers are protected and our long-term financial health is secure? First, the city's management team is reducing expenditures across the board to reduce the risk of a negative year-end variance for 2009. Looking to 2010, we're projecting a decline in revenues of approximately $8 million. Even in good economic times, it would be unacceptable to pass on an impact of this magnitude to city taxpayers. It's unthinkable in the difficult economic times families are experiencing now. The 2010 budget will not be a matter of trimming in a few places. Council is prepared to make the tough decisions necessary to protect taxpayers, maintain our excellent AA credit rating, and keep the city's finances sustainable over the long term. This means doing things differently than in the past. To that end, Council has approved new policies to set limits on debt, establish minimum reserve levels, and cap the use of property taxes for capital projects. We have brought new discipline to our capital planning process with a priority ranking tool that will help us decide what we can afford and what we can't afford. Our approach to capital expenditures can be summed up by the following principles. We can't afford to do it all. Don't make the infrastructure due regard for credit ratings. Tools, policies, and practices have been implemented or are under development to enforce these principles. Through Council-approved policies to set limits on debt, establish minimum levels of reserves, and to cap the property taxes for capital that it can be used for capital projects. By doing this, we establish what we can afford and sustain over the long term. Anything above the line, we can afford. Anything below the line, we cannot, without risking the financial sustainability of our community. If we want to move a capital project from below the line to above the line and move it forward, something has to move down. So how do we determine what falls above the line and what falls below the line? The priority ranking tool has a number of weighted criteria. This includes whether the project is mandated by legislation. That's often the case with some of the new water infrastructure that we need to provide. If it has health and safety implications, or whether it's needed to maintain an asset and reduce costly repairs in the future. Projects that leverage external funding, such as the infrastructure stimulus projects, and those that attract jobs and investment are given higher priority. And projects must be achievable within the new policies on debt, reserves, and caps on using property taxes for capital projects. And we also take a note of projects that balance the triple bottom line of the environment, the economy, and society. In the past, a current year's capital budget was affordable, but the following 9 years had more projects than we could ever afford. This is demonstrated in the top line, the green being the affordable year and the remaining months not being affordable. In fact, there was about $270 million too much in just 5 years looking forward. This practice has met with significant criticism from within and outside City Hall over a number of years, and this practice is changing starting now. No longer will projects appear in the capital budget without a sustainable financing plan attached to them. Of course, this is not going to be popular with everyone in the community. Key community projects that have significant public support, like the new main library and the South End Community Centre, have been pushed beyond 2014. So you can see the 2010 budget there as all being green, meaning that all of those years are financially sustainable. This doesn't mean that the projects are cancelled. Staff continue to work on planning to ensure that they're well positioned to explore external partnerships, whether that's with another level of government, the private sector, or another agency. It just means that we don't have the money to put the shovel in the ground right now or within the next 5 years. These changes are not easy, but they are essential, not only to ensure that the city's finances remain solid through the current economic downturn, but to provide long-term